Hello, everybody. My name's Samantha Dominic. I am the sculpture professor here at Adelphi, one of the sculpture professors. You're not seeing my face because I'm just going to do a quick audio recording for you all going through the Moodle page. But welcome to Sculpture Workshop. This is a 2-week course. So we do one long project, one larger project, rather than multiple smaller ones throughout a full semester. We're only going to work for um, these next 10 days with the weekend in between. And we'll go from there. So I wanted to walk you through some Moodle stuff just so you could see what you need to do because this is an asynchronous class. I will be available should you need me. You just send me an email. I'm available via email if it's a question I can answer quickly in text, or you can make an appointment and we can Zoom during the week. And my face will be on there, I promise. So this is our Moodle page, Sculpture Workshop. When you get there, you're going to see in this 2-week course, you'll be creating one term project. So it'll be a large scale object in cardboard. I did send that email out already. Hopefully you saw it with the list of materials that you need, but we will be creating one larger project in cardboard. There'll be check-in points throughout the time of this class, since it is asynchronous, like I said. A lot of this will be on you to work on, but just to keep you on track, because I'm a procrastinator too, just to keep you on track, there will be check-in points, and I'll go through that right now. These check-in points will count as your attendance and your classwork, so keep that in mind. Announcements. So in announcements this is where you're going to get all emails from me. Every time I send an email, anytime I send something to the group, this is where it will be. So if you're like, hey, did Sam send something? P.S. You can call me Sam. Did Sam send something that I missed? You can go check there. There shouldn't be too much of that, but I do like to send periodic sources and things like that, resources. Um, so there's that. Then we have the syllabus. The syllabus, fairly simple. It also says 2025, but nothing has changed since last year. We do one larger project, like I said, in cardboard. This includes a written proposal, not that serious. You're just going to write me why you want to make this object that you're going to create. I'll get into that in a minute. Preliminary drawings, some sketches of what you're going to make, your maquette, which is a small scale version of your sculpture, and then your progress photos, your final sculpture, and a video of your sculpture. The communication will count as 25%. So communication, making sure that you're checking in. Since we'll not be meeting in person or synchronously, communication throughout the course will count as attendance. So if you disappear for the full 2 weeks and you hand everything in at the end, that will affect your grade. So keep that in mind. Preliminary work, which is the work that comes before the big sculpture, that will be required. You'll create a little slideshow at the end of the semester. I say semester as if it's not next week, with a short paragraph, drawings, your maquette, etc., etc., etc. Your final sculpture. Final sculpture will be graded based on design. I have a rubric I'll upload, your final video, which is just a 360 around because this is a sculpture in the round, and your final portfolio. So there's that. That is your syllabus. I'm not going super deep into it because I'm going to go through everything else. Your project description. So here's what we're doing. Your project description for this 2-week intensive course, you'll be creating a sculpture out of cardboard. So collect your cardboard. This can be cardboard boxes, cereal boxes, pasta boxes, Amazon boxes, whatever you can find that's cardboard. You could go to Costco and get a whole bunch of boxes before checkout or after checkout, I guess. It's entirely possible to create a handsome sculpture just out of recycled cardboard. But if you're someone who would prefer to use clean, crisp, flat, newly recycled sheets of cardboard, you're more than welcome to. You can get them from Staples, from Uline. There's plenty of places that have sort of recycled and like perfectly crisp cardboard. For some projects for me, because I use a lot of cardboard in my own work, I do have to get the nicer sheets. And when we're in person, we usually provide the nicer sheets. They can get a little pricey. So just, I say recycled is the best way to go. You'll need a utility knife. So just a little knife with a blade, hot glue gun and extra hot glue sticks. Ruler is very helpful. Cutting mat is also helpful. You could also just put another piece of cardboard under the cardboard you're cutting, so you're not cutting into your grandmother's table. I don't know. Then your goal will be to create an object out of cardboard. You're choosing whatever object you want. It could be an object that's meaningful to you. It could be Um, what is something? A stethoscope if you're a nursing major, or it could be a microphone if you're a singer. It can be anything like that. You're going to choose an object. Just something you're excited to work on for 2 weeks, since you're going to work on it intensely for 2 weeks. Um, I'm going to keep going. If you're unsure of a subject to choose, find an object you have at home. That could be a bottle, a cupcake, a pet. It's a little harder to make a more organic object. I would say something like a cup, a box of matches, uh, something like that is a little easier. Your finished sculpture should be at least 24 inches in one direction. So that means that if you're making a coffee cup, you want to scale up, right? So you'll have to measure your coffee cup from every direction and scale up. If you're making something like a car, you're going to have to scale down. So you'll get the rough measurements of what your object is, and you will create at least a 24-inch object. We've had people do Nintendo Switches, guitars. There's no maximum for the size. So if you're working like in your backyard and you have a ton of room and you want to make something that's 20 feet long, you're more than welcome to. Um, I'd be happy to see it, but you don't have to. 24 inches at a minimum, no maximum. Um, there's examples on Moodle as well. I'll show you. First assignment is to write a short paragraph explaining your idea and plans to execute the idea. You'll make drawings of your object, 3 to 5 drawings from different perspectives. Drawings can be simple, contour drawings with no shading. I'll show you what that means. But they're going to be due by noon on Tuesday. So you have a full 24 hours to make these drawings. So here's your example. I'll be creating a pair of scissors out of cardboard. I will first take measurements of the scissors and enlarge them to 24 inches. I plan to cut the shapes in cardboard and paint them in the end. The drawings below. We're going to pretend that these are drawings, right? So once you have your written idea and the drawings are approved, because I will respond to you as soon as you post it, you'll move on to creating a maquette. Maquette is a small scale sculpture. You can make that out of paper. You can make that out of cardboard, whatever you want, but it's going to be a small scale version of whatever you're making, just to kind of map it out before you jump into the large scale version. And that'll be due by Thursday. So this first week kind of is dedicated to the preliminary stuff for this project. So just keep that in mind. You can jump ahead and start working on the rest of it and, check in later on, but just make sure your idea gets approved prior to working on the large scale one. As soon as I see it, I will respond. If you want, you can even submit it and then send me an email. Hey, Sam, I submitted so and so, and then I'll respond as soon as possible. Because I don't necessarily get notifications. I'll try to make it so I get notifications, but sometimes Moodle is weird. So just shoot me an email. My phone number is also on the Moodle page if you run into anything like an emergency cardboard problem, whatever you want. Once your maquette is approved, you can move on to your large scale sculpture. Demos will be provided via Moodle to help you with your techniques and different processes. I'm going to show you some stuff. There's different videos, and there's different ways to finish your sculpture, include paint, paper mache, more. That'll be up to you. I've had people add pipe cleaners. I've had people cover it in fabric. I've had people cover it in felt. Just acrylic paint it, spray paint it. That's going to be up to you. And you could also leave it just cardboard. I'll show you how beautiful cardboard can be just as is. Final is due 11:59 on Friday, 6/27, not 6/26. So I think it's the 27th. We're going to look at a calendar right now. So give me 12 seconds as if this is live. It's the 26th. So I just keep writing the wrong dates on stuff. I will keep you on track as best I can. Okay, so that's that. Project PowerPoint. Okay. Corrugated cardboard. So everything's going to be out of cardboard. Corrugated cardboard is the thick cardboard. It's the cardboard that comes with a package. It usually has 2 single like flat walls, and then these ridges in between that are called flutes. It's a lot more durable. So I like that for like the structure, the heavy duty part of it. Chipboard is more like cereal boxes, pasta boxes, a case of soda, things like that. It's a little bit thinner. It's like one face. It usually has some sort of coating on it, but also fantastic. It's really malleable, so it's great for that. Cardboard is fantastic because it is cheap, accessible, recyclable, easy to work with, and versatile. And I mean it. I use it in my own work. I think it's a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic material. And you can really transform it. I will, again, will show you examples. The project, like I said, is to choose an object. I say simple, readily available, and something you have on hand as reference is the best way to go. Like I said, a coffee cup, a water bottle, a box of matches. Um, I've had JBL speakers. I've had a pack of Orbit gum. I've had um, a little Lego toy. Whatever you want to do is totally fine, but I will approve it. So if I think it's going to be too much or too like a again too much to bite off, I think that I will just let you know once you submit everything. But for the most part, I think choose something fairly geometric as well. I think that's an easier way to go as well for the amount of time that we have. But we'll go from there. Measure your object in the round. Every dimension, you'll need to recreate it exactly. I say exactly. If it's not perfect, I'm not gonna bite your head off. Don't worry. You're gonna scale up or scale down depending on its original size. And it should be at least 24 inches. Scale the size relation of one thing to another. I mean, seeing a giant Orbit gum packet where you open it up and you can pick pieces of gum out. Again, I'll show you examples, or I'll email examples of that one because that was this past semester in live at Adelphi. Um, it changes things to see that. So we experience scale in relation to our own size. Large scale, feelings of wonder, awe, fear. Small scale, more approachable, agreeable. Here's a large scale sculpture by an artist named Ron Weck or Muick. I never know how to say it. Called Boy. It's 5 meters tall. You can see these real people standing around it. And how does it make you feel? Like feelings of awe. This is supposed to be a young boy. Um, these people standing around. He's obviously very large, right? And then we have small scale. This is also Ron Weck or Muick, and it changes your perspective based on the scale. You will need hot glue gun, hot glue sticks, utility knife, ruler, scissors, cardboard, all that fun stuff. Other miscellaneous materials, cutting mat, acrylic paint, brushes, school glue if you want a paper mache, newspaper if you want a paper mache, and other items, yarn, glitter, whatever. Use as much glitter as your little heart desires because I don't have to clean it up. This is a link to another PowerPoint, or not PowerPoint, it's a PDF actually, of many different cardboard artists. There are so many incredible professional artists working in cardboard. These will be links to videos of their work. This is entirely cardboard. Oh, I'm choking, sorry. This is entirely cardboard. This sort of little forest scene, this giant head. James Lake is incredible. It almost looks like carved wood. Chris Gilmore makes a lot of vehicles. And again, these are entirely cardboard. And you can see that they're not coated in anything, right? Like they're straight up cardboard. Although, if there are imperfections to your cardboard, paint, other materials, they will coat it well. They'll cover it well. Um, I'm just going to scroll a little, but you're welcome to go through this. Lots of cardboard artists. I would suggest watching this video for Tom Burkhardt's Studio Flood. It is an entire recreation of his studio in cardboard and black ink. Fantastic. And it feels more graphic, more like a drawing. Bartek Elsner, this giant stereo, boombox, whatever you want to call it. But there's so many artists that have worked in cardboard. I'm scrolling fast now. And other miscellaneous materials. This is cut up um like bottles of laundry detergent, safety pins, um trash, all sorts of things. So that is in there for you. Let's go back. That's my email. Let's not look at that one. Oh, where am I? All right, I closed my Moodle page, so we're gonna have to go back to Moodle. Okay, so that's that. And these are some more examples of cardboard artists. These are some from Um, Tom Burkhardt, Studio Flood, Chris Gilmore, James Lake. See how that looks like carved wood? It's incredible. And this is just a PowerPoint or just a whatever you want to call it. Just things that are helpful for using cardboard. Measure everything. You're enlarging your object or minimizing your object, depending on what it is. Um, and you're getting exact measurements will give you the best results. Using a straight edge to cut, keeping a ruler and then cutting against the ruler, you'll just get really nice, clean cuts. Make sure you have a sharp knife. Sharp knife will go right through the cardboard. I'm sorry if you hear my dog barking. He really wants string cheese. Using a cutting mat when possible. It'll keep your blade sharp too. Changing your blade when it seems dull. Utilizing cardboard techniques. There's a couple videos and things on here that I'll show you too. Scoring. So when cutting cardboard, only cutting through one side to keep the other side intact. I'll show you what that means. Cutting notches, creating X's, and then get inspired. Look stuff up. We can be inspired by other artworks, other artists, etc. Going back. Here's a bunch of miscellaneous resources. So this is where you're going to find all your resources of like, how do I do this? Um, Cardboard for Beginners. This is a great resource for materials to use, how to build up. I will also help you individually. So, oh, I don't know if you need to have, let's see, does it work? It does work. So you can watch these videos, just making sure. Um, what is sculpture? This is just a PowerPoint explaining sculpture. I'm not going to get super deep into it. Again, this is going to be for you to go through if you'd like. Lots of really cool artists in there. This has over 25 videos that I've saved over the years that I think are really helpful. 90 seconds for this next. We're not going to do that. But all these videos of how to create cardboard sculpture, they're all fantastic resources. Again, I'm going to help you individually, but I just think it's helpful to have it there. And then ways to finish cardboard. This is another PowerPoint. So just cardboard. These are just cardboard. Black ink, cartoon-like and graphic look. Paper mache. You can literally just mix a little bit of school glue with water, very little bit of water, dip strips of newspaper, and it'll harden into a nice paper mache. These are some sculptures by an artist named Shona McAndrew, and these are entirely paper mache, down to the sock hanging out of the hamper, down to the hamper itself. Will Kurtz uses newspaper and he uses the color of the newspaper specifically. You can straight up paint it. The one thing to be careful of when you're painting is that cardboard can warp. So if you're going to paint one side, paint the other side as well. You can do it after it dries or paint an X on the other side if you're not going to see it to keep it from warping. And there's lots of different ways. So that I X'd it out again, but you do get the idea. Um, I am here to help you however you need. Here's where you're going to check in. Check-in part 1, due on Tuesday, is going to be the proposal with the preliminary drawings. So let's say you pick a can of Red Bull and you write why you want to, I drink Red Bull every day instead of coffee. That's your proposal, right? Doesn't have to be that deep. Then you say, you make some sketches of your Red Bull can from multiple different perspectives. I say, awesome, let's do it. And you start working on your maquette. Your maquette, can be made out of paper and tape. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You'll submit that by Thursday. And then 3 is your first check-in with your progress. So the progress made by this point might just be collecting supplies. If that's the case, that's okay. June 19th, we technically don't have class, but do try to submit it anyway. I won't hold it against you if you submit it Monday morning, but it'd be better if you submitted it on the 19th, just so I can keep you up to date or help you out however I can, especially if you're planning on working over the weekend. And then the second week is entirely going to be working. So you can check in with me at any point, but Tuesday and Thursday are going to be our big check-ins. And then Friday, everything is due. So right now this is hidden, but your portfolio and your video will get uploaded. Some images of your final sculpture will get uploaded here. Here's your grade breakdown. But everything will be submitted that night. Your portfolio, I will upload an example of the portfolio just so you can see exactly what that looks like. And I'll keep you up to date. Any questions you have, please feel free to ask me. Your grade breakdown, you can read everything to understand how you're going to be graded, and that's about it. I swear to you that it's not a super complicated class. I will keep you as up to date as humanly possible. And we're going to make some great sculpture. I'm here to help. We can even FaceTime at some point if that's easier for you than hopping on a Zoom. We'll figure it all out. So let me know what you need. I'm here, and good luck.